What's up, everybody? I'm Brandon Jones, and I'm here to talk to you about Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now, Ghost Recon Wildlands, if you've been following Easy Allies, is a game that several of the allies are just a little bit nervous about. It's a game that tonally started off a little rambunctious. It's about crazy cowboys taking out drug dealers and kind of contrived gameplay demos that they released that had a lot of like canned conversations of people pretending to just have like a crazy spontaneous multiplayer session. Well, I did have a crazy spontaneous multiplayer session. I went up to San Francisco thanks to Ubisoft and I checked out a couple hours of Ghost Recon Wildlands. I was definitely given a lot of freedom, which I really enjoy in a demo, to do whatever the heck I wanted to do. I got to play a little bit by myself and I got to play a little bit 4-player co-op. 4-player co-op is way better. I want to talk to you about my experience with Ghost Recon Wildlands. So the first thing as I did is I made my character, tried to make it look as much like me as I possibly could. I don't know if I'll do that in the actual game. I didn't want to waste too much time here because I wanted to get into it and get some missions done, but there's lots of options. There's things that you can unlock later on that will give you more of a flair. I don't know if you can change your face later on, so I don't know what the terms are as far as like the full extent of the character customization, but I know that there are different clothing options that you can buy and unlock as you get through the game. But it was fun seeing everybody look different. I did the demo with the wonderful Pamela Horton, who is in the gameplay. You can see her. She's got her hood up. She kind of looks like the Archer from Call of Duty Black Ops 3. So it was fun seeing people express themselves and go through the multiplayer with them. But when you're doing one player, we'll start off there, you have 3 co-op AI buddies. And I imagine as you build up your co-op number, you basically fill in anybody that is on the team with AI. The AI was okay. There were a couple times where I would be driving around and we'd all get out to go, search a building, and then I get back in the car and like one soldier just didn't want to get back in the car. And was like, later, dude. And so I would leave and, eventually they would rubber band or catch up to our position, just kind of warp back to where we were. But the AI was, not super great. There was one time where I went to a base and some guards spotted me and were trying to cross the street, and one got hit by a car, and then another soldier immediately after that got hit by a car. And so characters aren't totally observant. Tactically, the game can be very difficult when other weapons and crazy vehicles and stuff like that, and gun emplacements, and there are definitely some places are very well guarded that are difficult to get into. But just kind of roaming around the map, people can be not the smartest, but hopefully that gets updated before the game comes out. So basically what you do in the game is you want to take down this giant drug cartel. And so there is the leader of the drug cartel, and then there's all of his, executives, basically like the leadership, and then there is people that work, around all of those separate people. So there's this web of characters that you have to work your way through in the game, and you go around to all these different maps. You obviously level up so you can gain access to better weapons and vehicles. You can go around and locate item caches that have resources and weapons and ammunition and stuff like that for the local rebels. And the more you level up and the happier you make them, the more you unlock things that you can then bring in, like vehicles and helicopters and support and intel and stuff like that, information from them to help you with your mission. I know that there's a progression of working your way through these, drug cartel bosses to get to the final person, and so there's a progression in the sense of how that story is set up. But as far as the map is concerned, you can go anywhere at any time. We couldn't in the demo because we were locked off to a specific area that they wanted us to focus on, but that was more than enough area to do something in the amount of time that I had. There were definitely towns that I drove by where I'm like, that looks awesome, it looks like there's all sorts of cool stuff there, but I do not have time, I gotta move on. So playing through this game, if I was playing by myself, I would definitely be methodical and just go town by town and just slowly, just burn the map, just like, if there's anything going on around this lake, it is finished, I never have to come back here. But if you're playing co-op, you can only do one mission at a time, but you can be anywhere in the world at any time. So if you want to just get intel and you guys want to split up, you can focus on opening up a campaign that way, or you can obviously all focus on one thing at the same time. But we'll get into a little more co-op later. And you have drones, which is great. So you can call a drone and throw it up, and you can use that to tag enemies. That is definitely one thing that is an advantage in this game, is having a situational awareness. There are, you can throw an infrared, and there's other things you can do to scan the area and locate soldiers, but there were a lot of instances where somebody would either yell at me and say that there was somebody right next to me, or if somebody had a sniper position or was able to get the drop on somebody that was sneaking up behind me, that was always a highlight. In 4-player co-op, So yeah, you're basically just running around and collecting stuff in the story. What's fun is that every time you do get to one of these characters in the game that works for this drug cartel that you have to take down, they have a really interesting personality. So like one of the people that we had to go after in the demo were two doctors that at one time saved someone's life that worked for the cartel, and then were brought in to basically handle torture for them. And so they're physicians, and so they know how much pain the human body can take, and they know exactly what they can do to keep somebody at the maximum pain level, but keep them alive for the longest amount of time before they get the information out of them. And I was like, yeah, those sound like people I want to kill. I love games that do that. I love like a Mercenaries. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare recently had that. Like I love games that specifically give you targets and, you know, give you a face, give you somebody that you want to, give you a reason to go hunt those people down. And so while the map has a very open structure, and some people might need a little bit more guidance, a little bit more story focus if they're going into a game like this, I mean, you have to consider like what this game is setting up. Like this is basically an open world Splinter Cell. You know, instead of just going to these each specific locations and following, you know, a somewhat straight line through an area that then opens up once you get inside, the whole map is opened up. And so you imagine yourself being a part of this elite team of 4 soldiers sent in to basically disable this drug cartel and take it down. You're going through these towns and you're kind of experiencing what the world is like and what Bolivia is like. It seemed kind of realistic to me that they're like, just, you know, go at it from whatever angle you want to. If you want to go to that town and take it over, if you want to go there and get that intel. I know that's a turnoff for a lot of people that need a little more direction, not only just in general games, but even in open world games. But considering the subject matter, considering that I was just a soldier going in, that there would be kind of a, not straightforward, but because it is open-ended, but a very practical way to just go through and gather more information from all of these locations, and then eventually hunt down the person that you're looking for, and then so on and so forth. There's time of day that affects stealth. Obviously, if you go in someplace at night, it's harder for them to see you than if you go in during the day. But let's get to the fun stuff. So let's get to co-op. So when you're playing by yourself, it's fun. You got your AI buddies. They can help. AI in this day and age with co-op is only so good. It only takes so long before somebody just walks right in front of like an enemy that you're trying to hide from. So I wouldn't say any of the AI was like a hindrance. It didn't necessarily get in the way of my enjoyment of the game, but like you get into co-op, especially if you're playing with people that you know, and it's a totally different game. And it frustrates me because I don't know if I'm gonna have the time if and when I possibly review Ghost Recon Wildlands. If we can get anybody assigned to it, it might be worth just like a couple of big chunky streams, because this game really comes into its own once you get into 4-player co-op. And so once you're doing fun missions, and I remember there was one where there was like a rock outcropping on the side of the mountain where we literally just had to land on the rock. And if you landed anywhere around the rock, if you missed it on the parachute, you were screwed. You had to like, get to some spot, and you couldn't get on the top of the mountain and hop down because there are these big drops going down. So it was just, you literally had to just bullseye on the parachute this rock, which wasn't impossible. I think most of us managed to do it, but it was fun having these objectives. You imagine you're playing with your friends and you're like flying in a helicopter over this area, and it's like, what do we want to do? Do we want to finish that mission? Do we just want to go take out that town over there? Do we all just want to split up, maybe go 2 and 2, and just go into other towns, and one person goes in and gets stuff and the other person goes around and covers them? When we actually wanted to take a base and actually saw a spot where we're like, okay, this is going to be difficult. Let's see if we can take it from all angles, north, south, east, west. And we're all just kind of like, it's fun to be fighting an enemy and see a couple people shooting at you and then see them get distracted and go shoot something else because your friend is coming from a completely other area, and then that gives you the chance to flank them and take them out. And seeing those things just naturally happen. And again, there's the downside to that. Again, the AI wasn't, brilliant like the whole time, but like when you can kind of fool the AI in that way, when, drawing aggro one way or the other. And then there were these big tentpole, go hunt this person down missions that were very exciting. There was one mission where we went into like a silo that like went into a mountain, and we're going down these big, long, winding staircases, and there's these big, long tunnels that like break your sniper rifle out, and there's like tanks you can blow up. And again, fun and a really interesting world, but like, man, once you get 3 other people that that can tactically go in and are having a fun time and you're all communicating with each other, it's great and it's really fun. But it is one of those games that is fun because you make it fun. It really is a blank slate of just kind of like crazy military action, and they just kind of like put it out there for you, and you can do whatever you want. And so if that sounds exciting to you, if that sounds like something where you can get in there and make fun things happen, then go for it. It was really fun having one person drive a vehicle and you shoot out either from the side of a helicopter, or you grab like the gunner on a tank or in the back of a Jeep or something. It definitely has highlights, definitely has its moments. But just like an extreme sports game, it's really about you getting in there and making those big crazy moments happen. One final thing I want to talk about, before I get into some negative stuff, I really liked the map. And this is a really hard thing for me to describe. I might sound a little loony in saying this, but the map just looked more real to me. Like a lot of open worlds that I see look constructed. Beautifully constructed, but still constructed, like just this, and a lot of that helps in understanding where you can go and where you can't go in an open world. This really seemed like a place that you would visit. And this, just the way that the natural environments were set up, the way the places where towns were placed, the size of towns, the amount of people that were there, just kind of the way the landscape is built. And keep in mind, I just saw a part of the map that they allowed us to go into the demo, so I'm sure there's lots of other areas that may or may not also be like this. But just getting up in a helicopter and looking around seemed like I was flying over Google Maps instead of, seeing if I was flying over, someplace from Far Cry 4 or, something from a Grand Theft Auto or something that was like really constructed to fit the most amount of cool things into one space. Again, I bring up that blank slate analogy that this really is just kind of a natural open world for you to go in and try to make cool things happen if you want to take back Bolivia from the drug lords. Unfortunately, there are a couple things. I talked about the AI being dumb, but there's something else that bothered me. Again, if this is really important to you in an action game, be warned that the story is pretty flimsy and the character animation is bad. The lip sync was off. The characters seemed kind of in a daze. Definitely had just like a weird last-gen feel to the way the people were presented in any of the scenes. It was really hard to take any of it seriously, and so that was unfortunate. Again, knowing the story, I talked about those, like that couple that were the two doctors that would torture people. Like, I don't necessarily need to see them represented really well in a cinematic to understand their characters and to want to wipe them out. But when it actually got time to focus on the story was a little heavy, and I felt that they didn't necessarily have the writing or the performances or the presence of the characters in those cutscenes to pull that off. Thankfully, there wasn't a lot of that. And again, like I said, because the world is so open and because you have so much choice, you can really focus on what part of the game you want to focus on. So if you really want to focus on story or you want to get a break from it, you can just run around and do other fun stuff. Maybe you might not want to play all at once. Maybe you want to play with a couple friends. And so every couple weeks, the four of you get together and just kind of look at the map and go, wait, what are we doing? And until you figure that out, one of you can just be running around and getting other objectives done. And then, all your friends jump online and then you get together and run around and shoot stuff and take over bases and get headshots and fly a helicopter. And there are fun things to do in this game. Whether those fun things are worth filling up an entire 20 to 40 hour game doing, I don't know. How long does it take to finish Ghost Recon Wildlands? I don't have that information. But I do know that I played Ghost Recon Wildlands. I do know that it's a decent looking game, that it controls well, and that if you play with 3 other people, there is fun to be had. I don't know if Easy Allies is officially reviewing Ghost Recon Wildlands. I know we will most likely stream it because it doesn't seem like a very stream-friendly game. And I know there will be continued conversations and coverage about Ghost Recon Wildlands here at Easy Allies. But for now, thank you for hanging out. I'll talk to you soon.